Like, comparing this to Assassin, he has these visions and he interprets them wrong. Instead of they have this vision and they get everything right and they turn out to be the hero because they use it perfectly and everything they see comes exactly to pass. Instead, you have it like they think, oh, this is telling me one thing, and then it turns out differently. And even though they were like, nah, I know what I'm doing, it turns out they don't, and that they still have things that they have to learn. It's mind-blowing how this is like so much better than TCW.
You've got the blocking down for the most part, but you shouldn't just randomly deflect the energy any which way. I have a feeling you're gonna get stunned if you don't stay in the moment.
Points for actually showing us training.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that they clarified that they're only shooting on stun.
My contact Fulcrum says the Senator hides coded messages in his transmissions.
To those rebels, I have a message. The sun may have set on the old Republic, but a new freedom can be won.
Lothal's minds are up.
He's coming here to meet us.
I have a feeling it's a trap.
Yeah.
Your parents were very brave.
About your vision. Don't be too quick.
To take it literally, Kanan, I know it's right.
So, I'm actually kind of hoping that it all turns out to be a trap, because then you'll have your character actually kind of learn a lesson about how visions work. That, like, instead of they have this vision and they get everything right and they turn out to be the hero because they use it perfectly and everything they see comes exactly to pass. Instead, you have it like they think, oh, this is telling me one thing, and then it turns out differently. And even though they were like, nah, I know what I'm doing, it turns out they don't, and that they still have things that they have to learn. This isn't going to be at all like Assassin. I'm praying.
But that bit where they were like kind of puzzling out the message and taking precautions.
Wins this meeting.
He worked sunset and today into his message. Pretty obvious.
Yeah, too obvious. We should have some insurance in case the Empire's more clever than we think.
You've got a friend inside the Imperial complex, right? So find out for sure.
Clever dialogue, thank you.
Characterization, like it makes sense that each of the different characters would suggest what they did, that knew what they had.
The Inquisitor has put too much emphasis on the capture of the Jedi. Our attention should be on the rebels as a group. We catch my rebels, we catch his Jedi.
Good planning.
We don't even know for sure your precious senator is in there.
Yes, we do. I saw it.
If we can get up there without being seen, maybe we fly him out on his own ship.
I know a way in. No one will see us. Hey, I survived alone against the Empire for 8 years. Come on.
I love how they're all skeptical, but they decide to trust him instead of, tearing him down, telling him he has a bad plan, yada yada yada.
Instead of cutting him down, they're saying, okay, I see holes. How can I help you fill these holes?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like actually
they're
trying to work
problem-solving
out
together.
a solution instead of just, no, you have a bad plan.
They're being a team.
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of, I'm going to take control and have us all do it my way. It's, okay, let me build on what you've got here.
Well, it hasn't helped the smell.
Speaking of which, it does smell like you. I was talking to Ezra.
Wait, you know what I smell like?
It's a good thing they're deaf. They don't hear beeping. I love how she's shooting at her allies.
You two, up top.
What a lift.
I appreciated the teamwork between Zeb and Sabine. The way, like, when they're getting up onto this, like, want to lift, and then she goes skidding outside of the room, and he grabs her and he hugs her to keep her safe.
Yeah.
I like that. little moments like that are important.
They show that they actually care about each other. And it's also because I feel like when they did that in TCW, they'd always like use it as some other means of like, oh, you know, I saved you, now you owe me, or like something like that, right? Or like, but yeah, there's not a lot of teamwork in TCW. I mean, they work together, but there's not a lot of like teamwork moments.
Yeah.
Not in those little ways.
You want me to go in there?
It's not so bad once you get used to the smell.
You never get used to the smell.
Okay, but this is like, okay, hurry up, guys.
I'm coming.
Story.
Why doesn't Zeb just pick him up and carry him?
I've been pursued, but never in such a place as this.
I like how it's showing that that Hera is starting to suspect him.
How will you find us?
I can smell you, remember?
Think of something clever to say later.
Ow.
Watch our backs, will ya?
Yeah, I don't think she suspects him at this point.
I think she does. There's no ammunition in that gun, is my guess.
Your parents were very brave and very foolish.
I appreciate that because, like, when he had the vision of that moment, from his expression, from his tone, like, it's just enough that you can believe that he would believe it's genuine, that he's a good guy. But there was something about, like, his expression and his tone that I was like, he's not legit. And I like that they do it because I remember that TCW episode where they have the transmission from Mandalore? Yeah. Where they have it like say two different things. And it's pretty clear that they did two different recordings.
Yeah.
Instead of doing one recording in such a way that you could cut it and like piece it together differently. So it's like I appreciate that here they didn't cut that corner, that they didn't use that trick, right? Like they legitimately gave you the actual scene that he later sees, and so then you have a chance to piece it together yourself. But I think because we did this in our fix for the Goldie arc, where we have Ahsoka start suspecting sooner based on little things, and like here it's not as obvious as it was there, and Hera's catching on. Hera's catching on early, and so I appreciate that. But like for me, like maybe I'm wrong and Hera's like completely oblivious, but like to me there's clear signs that Hera knows and that she gave him the gun to expose him. Because I read that in a book one time they used kind of the same trick, because they're like, oh, the person with the gun feels confident in being honest, but if it's a gun that's not loaded.
Well, we just recently watched the Netflix series Fool Me Once, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched that. It's a pretty good show, like you should check it out if you haven't seen it, but spoilers. She used the same trick to expose her husband. She had a deactivated gun, and she switched it out with a working one and put it in their gun safe. And then he took the deactivated one, and she took the one that worked. And then when she confronted him, he pulled the gun on her and pulled the trigger. And it didn't work. But it told her everything that she needed to know.
It's not a new trick, but like when it's utilized well in cases like this, I love it. Like even though I've seen it before, it's still good.
Yeah.
And especially if in a case like this, you don't know that the character who gave them the gun knows. You're kind of like, oh no, what's like? There's still that you still have that tension, and until it's revealed that no, they gave them a useless gun. So using tropes, it works.
Yeah,
when you handle them well.
What?
See. You know, this is kind of crazy. A Jedi using the Force. Where have we not seen this before?
Oh, I'm sure I have no idea.
I cannot tell you the amount of times I think that to myself watching this show.
What was the last vision you had?
I saw this bratty kid that constantly caused me trouble.
I guess you read that one wrong.
Yeah, I guess so.
See? A moment of genuine, like, positive interaction. So when they're ribbing each other later, you know it's all just in fun. Where have we not seen this before? But yeah, and again, like, comparing this to Assassin, he has these visions and he interprets them wrong. And it's done in a way that, like, it's kind of a combination of, yeah, the Goldie arc and Assassin. But you have Hera picking up on it, which is kind of in character. Well, not kind of in character. It is in character. She picked up on these signs, things that she's like, no, that doesn't make sense for what he claims to be. What he's doing is not adding up.
Yeah.
He tried to get us to surrender. He wasn't tired when he stopped. He was waiting for Callus to catch up. And he wanted our secrets.
And I mean, like, it would be more difficult in the case of a droid. I grant that, but, like, it was so obvious in the Goldie arc.
Mm-hmm.
So obvious. And so, yeah, they have a reasonable, like, her catching on to it at a reasonable time for reasonable reasons. And meanwhile, he is misinterpreting his vision, but, like, he's also, like, he's humble about it.
I didn't see it. I was so wrong.
It's mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
How this is, like, so much better than TCW.
Yep.
And I don't understand how that happened.
I think because, like, when you look at the credits and you compare them to what we would see at the end of each Clone Wars episode, TCW would always end with Dave Filoni. Just Dave Filoni, by himself. Just his name,
It was
taking up the
created
entire
by
screen.
George Lucas and then supervising director Dave Filoni.
But with this show,
There's a
for
whole
like
bunch
right
of
off
names.
the bat, there's a whole bunch of names. Not just Filoni front and center. There are other names that were clearly a big part of the production of this show.
I wanted to believe in Travis as much as you did.
Yeah, what's wrong with us?
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good message. It's like, you know,
Nice ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look at all those names.
Okay, so created by Simon Kinberg, Dave Filoni, and Carrie Beck. Executive produced by Simon Kinberg, Dave Filoni, and Greg Wiseman.
So, Simon Kinberg and Carrie Beck. We should look them up, maybe see what other works they've done, and try to gauge, like, what level they're at based on that. Oh, he did X-Men, a bunch of the X-Men movies. Oh, he did Deadpool and Wolverine, which everyone's been raving about. I haven't seen it yet, but everyone's been saying, like, for the most part, that it's good, so... Oh, they did Designated Survivor. I watched that one. Oh, The Twilight Zone. Oh, Edge of Tomorrow. Oh, he did some revisions in there. Okay, because that's, like, a really good movie.
Okay, Catwoman, though.
Yeah,
And
that's not a good one.
That's not a good... But it is just script revisions. He's uncredited on it. I don't know.
Okay, so some not so great stuff, some great stuff, and then Carrie Beck.
She doesn't have a lot of writing credits. She's part of Resistance. Lego Star Wars!
Okay, so it looks like the better writing is coming from Simon Kinberg.
This is the one we just watched, and then it's by Gilroy.
Yeah, Gilroy's a good writer.
I mean, I'm willing to admit it raises the question, right? Like, because Rebels so far has been really good, and technically Dave Filoni was in charge of that.
But not, like, solely in charge the way he was with the Clone Wars.
But he wasn't solely in charge with the Clone Wars. Right? Like, he had a lot of power, but George Lucas was involved. Not heavily involved, as fans claim, but he was involved. And so it raises the question, well, maybe switching George Lucas out with these other people for Rebels, maybe that's kind of the difference. Maybe
that's entirely possible too, because yeah, like I've said many a time, like Lucas was burnt out by that point. He didn't really care about Star Wars.
Lucas is
just
also
wanted to...
just sorry to interrupt. He's creative in the sense that, like, I mean, yeah, you just have to look at how many times he's changed his mind about things, or he's done it one way, and he's done it. He just he likes to do new things, and play with new ideas, and just see like, apparently one of his favorite arcs in TCW was the droid arc, which
it's like one
everybody
of the
hates,
worst.
but like he loves it, and so it's like, okay, I respect Lucas as the creator of Star Wars, but I don't, like, worship the man. Like, there's many aspects where he's not good at writing. Like, he's not... I can't judge direction as well, but, like, I think that's his strong point. But he's also, like, just... He has his strengths, and, like, yeah, the creativity of coming up with Star Wars in the first place, I think there's a lot to be said there. But, like...
Well, I don't think his directing is strong, because, like, you look at the prequels, and that was not well directed.
Well, there's a difference between visual direction and directing the actors.
Yeah.
So, and, like, yeah, there's...
So you mean, like, visually, he was a good director,
as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Because, yeah, like, the prequels are beautiful. They are beautiful movies.
Mm-hmm. And he's always, trying to push the envelope, trying to, do that new thing. And, like, his contributions to filmmaking have been incredible.
Huge.
Like, there's no question that, like, George Lucas deserves respect, but I'm not going to, like...
say he's a flawless creator, because he's
flawless,
not,
or that anything like that, right? So, like, I am absolutely open to admitting that perhaps the combination of him and Filoni was a very bad combination.
Yeah, that's entirely possible,
right? And so then once Dave kind of gets away from him and has other people, being those veto people, being those, like,
but at the same time, you look at his later projects where I'm assuming he was paired with other people.
After fans started to worship Dave, and so then the company gave him more authority, right? Like, I think at this point, at least is the first kind of thing that happened after the buyout.
Right. I think we have theorized that, like, after the fans demanded that, like, the Clone Wars be brought back and he started getting more of his own projects, we have theorized that it just, like, went straight to his head.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the ego on that man.
Like, it would make sense to me that while he was kind of put in charge, because, he was, like, Lucas's right-hand man for TCW, like, Lucas was just like, nah, you here's some ideas, you do your thing. But here, they just had the buyout, they want something good, so they have more of a group thing going on.
Well, I also think, like, the order of the names is also important. Because Simon Kinberg was in front, and then Filoni, and then Carrie back. So I think the order is important. The order indicates, like, who has the most control over this project. Because you look at the projects where Filoni had more control, and they're absolutely worse. So I think Simon Kinberg had more control here, and since he seems to be a better writer based on his projects, I think the credit would go to him.
But I think Dave Filoni does work well, because, I mean, like, season 1 of The Mandalorian, right? Like, that was a thing between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And I know there's, like, a lot of valid criticism against even season 1. But, like, it was pretty good, right? Though a lot of people say it only seemed good because, like, we just had the sequel trilogy, so then people were like, anything is good. So, like, it kind of depends on how you look at it. Like, I don't want to ever be the kind of person who ignores information for the sake of sticking to our perspective. Because here I've got these questions. Dave Filoni is technically more in charge of this than he was in TCW. Yes and no. Like, it's hard to really say. But, like, this is so much better than TCW. So it's like, okay, what's changed here? Is it the fact that Lucas is not a part of this? Or is it that somebody else is a part of this, right? Like,
Yeah, it could absolutely be like a combination of things, because I remember like there was a conversation recently where someone was talking about Atla, like Avatar The Last Airbender, and they said like it was a combination of people, because the people who made Avatar The Last Airbender went on to make things like The Legend of Korra, which is garbage, or The Dragon Prince, which is also like quite bad. So it's like it's the same people, but it took those people who somehow aren't really good when they're left to themselves. It took a combination, like their combined efforts, to create something that was actually really, really good.
Yeah, and Atla's not flawless. Like, I was watching that video talking about how I think it was called "The Crew Deserve Better" or something like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things they kind of point out is like, well, you can already see back in Atla that they're not good at writing romantic subplots.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And then that just is like highlighted in Korra. It's bad.
Nth degree.
And so then it's like you can see these things that like, okay, this is kind of bad here, but is really bad here. And I think if you look at Ahsoka, like the series Ahsoka, there's a lot of things in there that you can see pieces of in Dave's previous work and just taken to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. And so then it's kind of like, I guess there's something about this on the people who are working on Rebels that it's just they're not falling into the same issues as they did with TCW.
And it also has to do with like a creative's journey, because I also theorized in the past that like this was the story that Filoni originally wanted to tell, because the Clone Wars was originally supposed to be
something
sort of this
similar
to this. Yeah. So he had like a lot more time to kind of think about this story in the back of his mind, kind of like puzzle it out a bit more. So it could be in part due to that.
It could also be because we've pointed out a few times now where it's like, oh, this is just that episode from TCW but repackaged, right? And so yeah, when you do it bad the first time, the second time is usually better. Your second draft is almost always better.
Yeah, so kind of it's entirely possible that in a sense like Filoni sort of progressed a little bit in his journey as a creative, and then they brought TCW back and all the praise went straight to his head, and then he completely regressed and now he's digging below the bottom of the barrel somehow.
I don't even know.
All of this is like, we are guessing, we are theorizing, we could be way off. But like these are just our thoughts.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to give Dave Filoni undue criticism, right? Like I don't want to have these speculations and then criticize him for my speculations, right? I'm just trying to figure things out. Like this is just like processing. I'm taking information in. I'm theorizing, and then I'm gonna see kind of like what more information I get. But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting to me. Like Rebels is far from perfect, but I'm just noticing they did this thing in TCW. I hated it. They're doing it again, and I actually like it. Like it's well done. Like I can't ignore that.
Okay, we have 15 seconds.
We have 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
No, we still haven't put the super thanks on here because this is literally us recording an hour after the last one we did. We do these in batches, and then we don't do them for months. Mm-hmm. And then we do a few more.
Yep.
It's great. It's great. It works. Mm. I'm wondering what episode we have to wait until we finally get the feedback from viewers about whether we should put super thanks up here or if we should put it down here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be so long. And then they're gonna have to be watching these for ages after. It's still not input. Okay, I'm sorry.